Spirit is everywhere. Spirit truly is everywhere. And you could basically find any quiet place to go to and use some tools like Echovox, for example, or your dictaphone or camera. And there's a good chance that you could have something there. One question through private message or on the channel or on social media that I come across time and time again is how to find spirit, how to find ghosts, how to capture audio, where to go to do this. I personally like to go to historical locations, and the reason being is if I'm doing some audio experiments in these areas, I could do some research. I could look at coherence coming through the devices that I could be using, whether that be Echovox, whether that be a dictaphone, or in the future Spirit Box, or any of these things. I could then start tying things in and provide just a little bit of a story there that people can follow and can see that these things actually work and that spirit is actually there too. Jim, do you hang about this area? Hello? Glasgow? Jim, do you hang about this area? Hello? Glasgow? Bijou123G, and they say, you know, for those people who think this app is full of shit, ask the questions inside your head. I did this many times and got many valid responses. I asked them to say my dog's name inside my head, and everyone that was there answered me. They have also validated things that are going on around me, like a candle that was lit beside my bed, and I never said a word about the candle. I was just listening. Yes, now, there's many times, and I can't use this on videos for various reasons, but there's many times where I'm thinking up what I'm going to ask the Echovox at a location, or if I'm taking part in an event, and the answer comes out before I say it. Now, to the skeptics and the cynics, how could you possibly say that? How could I possibly put up a video talking about that? You know, they'll just say, yeah, you made it up, you weren't going to ask that, how can we believe you? I mean, they won't even trust what is getting put out as it is without going in and saying it's matrixing or it's radio frequencies or all these things. They're just not interested. You know, it's just a debunking exercise. So I can't really use that on videos, but what I will say is this is completely correct. Now, I've seen a few people mention this and I've tried to comment about that. I've had my name shouted out. I've had answers to questions I'm about to ask as well. So yeah, try it for yourself. That's personal testing, and I have done it. Obviously, if I do a video, I can't use that, and I do get them, and I can't even put them in. Some really good ones, but if I put a really good response up there and say, "Oh, I was asking in my head first," or I was thinking of the question, you know what's going to happen. You know, and not that I'm completely bothered about cynics or trolls or anything like that. They can knock themselves out for all I care. And I've got a purpose here that's just beyond that. But yeah, you know, it's true and very well spotted. What we have here is we have the VoxBox by Mark Kultis. I hope I pronounce his name properly. Let me just stop this and out. Let me just stop this and out. Up here you see this Haunted Scotland Bank B. This is the files. Okay. This is just to show you that the files, and as you can see we have 17,000 of them, are all 2 seconds long. They come from audiobooks, some of them are reversed, none of them should be words. Okay. Now, the only caveat I have is obviously we can't guarantee that maybe the word it would come through, or I, you know, these kind of things may come through because they are short words, and it's set to 200 milliseconds. I don't hear anything at this point. I have went through the files. I haven't went through every single one of them. I've sampled a lot of them on the way down, that file that you see here, and I've had a listen, and I've let my team members know, listen at Fife Paranormal, and yeah, you'll get used to the sounds anyway. Why I'm saying this is because I'm actually going to give you access to these files. Let me just stop this and out. Let me just stop this and out. Specific reasons I wanted no words, no full words to come through. I wanted any spirit communication by spirit to be them having to rearrange these sounds to make words, or to produce an imprint onto the device, either through E.V.P. or whatever means they use, whether it be electromagnetic energy or whatever. But I didn't want full words to come through. I want to try and randomise it as much as possible. Let me just stop this now. Chesterette said, "Aye, there's the rub. Watch any Huff Paranormal YouTube clip with your eyes closed. And if you hear any meaningful, intelligible responses at all, 9 times out of 10 you'll see that he heard something entirely different when you watch it again and read the captions. Sorry if I sound bitter or wreck it for anyone. I would give literally anything for it to be legit, just to talk to my loved one more time, or my parents, or my best friend for that matter. All 4 are gone." Firstly, I'm sorry to hear about your loss. You know, we all lose people, and it's a really hard thing. You know, I get over that because I've had so much experiences of the paranormal and the afterlife that you know, that helps a bit, but it doesn't help completely. So I'm sorry about that. But moving on to what you're saying here, yes, everyone hears it differently. We are all attuned to accents, you know, our local dialect, and we could hear things slightly different. This could go for Huff Paranormal when Steve puts up stuff, or any other person for that matter. Now it comes down to a crucial point. Are people fully analysing what they've got? And what I mean by that is, I put a headset on, I'm inside Adobe Audition, I've slowed things down, I've played about with the pitch, and I make sure that as closely as possible I get that word. If it's borderline, I throw it out. I don't even put it up there. Now, I can't speak for other YouTubers. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how they're analysing. They'll have their own techniques. But this is what I do. So this is as close as I can get it with my ear. Many times people correct me on the comments, and I listen to everyone's correction. I don't believe I have all the answers. So I will actually be open to that and say, yeah, that's a possibility, just to expand the topic further. If you're thinking it's just randomness and we're making words out of it, I have to disagree, because of coherence, because of local dialect, because of information, and because I've done it for so long, and because I analyse. What's your name? What's your name? Edward Gilmore, he says, "Mr. O'Neill, if you're not scanning frequencies and not doing live recording, explain how you're picking up the spirit world." Okay, This was a bigger set of questions, I think, from Edward, and thank you for leaving your comments. I'm not scanning radio frequencies. Radio frequencies do not come through Echovox. This is a thing that a lot of skeptics and cynics are coming forward and saying, and this is when I know exactly that they've not used the software, or they don't understand it fully, or they've used it once or twice. What you've got to do is you've got to use something to test it over a period of time. I promised myself I would give it 2 years. It's a long time, but 2 years before I would discard it. I maybe wouldn't have went so far into it if my first feedback from Macduff Castle wasn't so good. So that gave me, the videos are there, you could go back and watch. It's not scanning, it's using phonemes. It's making words from that. Now, how does Spirit do it? How are you picking up Spirit World? Who knows? There's a lot of mysteries you don't know, and I don't pretend to know everything. I can only go with what feedback I get, and the feedback that I'm getting is coherent, it's relevant, it's got accents, it's dialect, local slang. It isn't even made in my country. The sound phonemes aren't even from here. So how does Spirit rearrange them? I'm not really sure, but go onto my website, and I think you've possibly been on there, but go onto the website and look at my working hypothesis. Look at the suggestions I put forward, because it's outside the scope of this video to answer that. It's very complex. It's taken a long time. So you have to really go and look at that. They are recorded live, and they're not live put out to the net, but they're recorded live in the sense I do a live session. They're recorded onto the device that I've got there, then they're analysed. Everything is analysed. I'm not just cherry picking and putting out audio or anything like that. These are thoroughly analysed. I've always worked that way. I've been in the paranormal community for over 10 years now, and I've always done my research very serious. So yeah, that's what it's doing. So not scanning frequencies, not radio frequencies, but also you've got sound frequencies going on here. The rearrangement, sound. If you look at what Tesla said when he said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, he says you'll find it within energy, vibration, frequency. And I think this is what's going on here. How does it do it? How do non-physical entities impact on non-physical frequencies to impact onto the physical, where we can hear them and talk like this about them? I don't know. But it's a mysterious universe. So we'll go further into that. But please check my working hypothesis. See what you think, and please rip it apart. I would be grateful. I'm always open to learning. So thank you for your question. Destroy. Destroy. What happens when we get coherence coming through? When we're matching history, we're matching names of people who are at the sessions themselves. Is this evidence coming through? What are these voices that are coming through? Is it the voices of the deceased? Or is it something much more within consciousness itself? Some sort of feedback loop for us, so that we can basically get some messages through that improve our life. This is a hard one to find out. It could be a mix of all, and within the video we'll hear from Thomas Campbell, who's a physicist from America, who actually touches on this subject when I asked him, whether it was the spirits of people who had passed over, or whether it was some sort of quirk within the larger consciousness system where we were getting feedback, or even still, is there some way that we are projecting the answers onto the actual devices or through the applications themselves.
Next question comes from Ryan. Ryan, over the past 10 years, has researched dozens of cases of apparitions, hauntings, and closely related phenomenon. Basically, he has caught on tape things, messages that seem like communications. And what he's asking is he really working with the spirits of deceased, or could the larger consciousness system just be nudging him with these messages?
Well, there is some interaction between physical and non-physical. That's true, and there can be actually, things on his meter, and it could be the larger conscious system giving him information just for his own growth and experience. Or it could be his own intent. He intends to measure something. He wants to measure something. And because he's holding an instrument that has fundamental uncertainty with it, a certain level of noise in the instrument, as all instruments do, he could be causing little signals to occur in the noise based on his intent. Or maybe the people he's with, all of them may have some kind of intent to measure something which could cause a little blip of signal just above the noise. Or there could be a consciousness someplace, some non-physical entity, if you will, that is using its intent to modify a little signal blip in an instrument that he's measuring. Because the physical instrument has noise, it has uncertainty, therefore that uncertainty can be manipulated to create little false signals. Or I shouldn't have false signals, they're real signals, to create little signals.
That's Robert. Was it you that tried to follow us out the room earlier? That's Robert. Was it you that tried to follow us out the room earlier? Were you the mom that looked after the cows? Thank you. Were you the mom that looked after the cows? Thank you.
All right, so there are multiple ways that he could be getting what he's getting. He could be producing them themselves, they could come from others, or it could be just the larger consciousness system giving him experiences to show him that reality is bigger than it seems. It could be any of the above, it could be a mixture of the above, or the larger consciousness system can create, of course, any kind of signal it wants of any magnitude and size.
Please forward and tell us if you died here, did you die before? Were you murdered? Can you once again please tell us your full name? Thank you. Please forward and tell us if you died here, did you die before? Were you murdered? Can you once again please tell us your full name? Thank you. I would like to ask if there are any spirit people round about you just now. Could you please come close to us, as close as you possibly can, and as clearly as you can? Could you please state your full name?
Find your own evidence, find your own knowing, and your own experiences. Experience trumps it all. When you've got direct experience from a location, direct experience of the paranormal, then you know what is going on this in this reality, if you like. So yeah, just get out there, get googling local locations, and that is how you find paranormal activity. You won't find it just sitting around. You won't find it just looking at other people's stuff as well. Get out and experience it for yourself. Use some of the tips from the multitude of channels and researchers and investigators who are open-minded, and yeah, have a go at it. But once you start, you will be addicted to it, especially when you experience something firsthand.